I was born here in San Diego and have been a North County resident my whole life. And naturally, when you grow up in this environment, it's hard to not become a surfer living close to the coast. And my dad was into surfing, so I've been surfing a long time, pretty experienced. I've surfed all over the world, so I consider myself to be a pretty advanced level surfer. I was in the water ready to come in, and my body went into cardiac arrest. So I had a sudden stop of my heart and my breathing. And obviously, when you're out in 6-foot swell in the ocean, that's a pretty dangerous place to be. Essentially was out in the surf, just lifeless for we don't know exactly how long.
Lady Genevieve, she was on the very north end of the beach and was filming the waves and saw like what she thought was like a seal or something in the water. And it turned out to be Blake, like floating in his board, kind of floating, and he's just, floating dead in the water essentially. So she freaks out, runs out, pulls him to the shore and starts doing compressions kind of on the shoreline.
I honestly don't even know how I got my shoes on and my son buckled in his car seat. And I was heading to Tri-City. I didn't even know where it was, but I was like, it's in Oceanside. And during that time in the ICU, the nurses there really helped me get through one of the hardest days of my life. And I remember Nurse Angie was like, I see 2 little boys out in the waiting room, 2 little blonde boys out there. And I remember Blake started crying.
I woke up, and as soon as I heard that, I was like, wow, I think I just cheated death.
I think we just owe them a lot in that being able to have our lives back to normal and surf every day and go over for dinner like all the time. And just spending time with my brother and his family and have our families still have this happy, normal life is all thanks to the care and support that we receive from Tri-City. We just have so much to be grateful for.
I'll forever be Tri-City.
My name's Ken Moran, and I'm a native San Diegan. I've been here my whole life and live here with my family, born and raised here. So I was playing tennis one Saturday morning, like I do all the time. I'll play for 3 hours at a time. And from what I've heard, because obviously I was unconscious, I literally fell over backwards. There was no warning. There was no anything that led up to that. Luckily, it was a very crowded day that day on a Saturday. There was a lot of people playing. And so the important thing is that people actually did something. I did go into a sudden cardiac arrest. And so people came over, someone started doing CPR. I think 26 minutes of active CPR, which is quite a bit. They did shock me twice, once on the tennis court and once at the emergency room. And so that sort of started my journey with Tri-City.
The El Camino Country Club in Oceanside is hosting a hands-on CPR and AED training session. And joining us in studio now to tell us more about this is a man who survived cardiac arrest. We have Ken Moran. Thank you for being here.
Since I got out of the hospital, I've made it my mission to promote education and awareness. Because what I don't want to ever happen is what happened to me on the tennis court and somebody not help them. We've trained about 300 people on AED and CPR use. It was on the tennis courts where all this started. We had Tri-City medical staff there. We had doctors, nurses. We had EMTs. It was a community event. I want people to not only know how to do it, but be comfortable to actually do something. Because I would not be here today if somebody didn't do something. I just want to make sure that's conveyed that we, my family and I, appreciate Tri-City. I mean, it is a community hospital, right? It's for the people. And they've shown that in my circumstance.
Well, if you're like me, you are feeling the weight of these stories. Tri-City is more than a hospital. It's a community of physicians, nurses, staff, first responders, and supporters standing together when every second counts. You are the hands that pull patients back from the edge. You are the calm in the chaos, the steady voice that families cling to. You are the reason a surfer paddles out again. You're the reason a tennis player returns to the court. You are the reason families get one more hug, one more laugh, one more meal together. Every innovation, every life saved, every story of resilience is possible because of the care and compassion inside our walls and the generosity and vision beyond them. This is Tri-City. Together, we save lives. Together, we restore hope. I really hope you were able to read between the lines, hear the words of pain that were unspoken, and the tears that were rolling when the camera stopped. There are so many lives who need a second chance, and that can't happen without you.